Who will you see? You'll see a couple of guards for the Pistons. If you're not familiar and don't watch a college basketball game, you're going to really want to take a look at, including Bruce Brown and Kyrie Thomas. Kyrie Thomas, the Big East Defensive Player of the Year out of Creighton. He could shoot the threes, a 3-and-D guy. And Bruce Brown, really highly touted out of Miami, but injured most of last year, so lower than he would have gone in the draft. Still ended up going rather high as he gets taken 42nd from Miami.
Yeah, he's a kid that had tremendously high expectations. Trice unable to get that one to fall.
Here's Brown with the ball. There's Kyrie Thomas. Henry Ellenson, speaking of high picks, they have told him heading into Summer League, GA, they want him to shoot as much as possible because that's what they want him to work on. So we talk about guys working on their game as he shoots at their misses. They want to see him develop in that area and shoot more.
Yeah, similar in terms of what you got from Leaf in the Indiana game earlier, in that he's a guy that just hasn't taken that step physically. Just hasn't matured at a rate that would have allowed him to have an impact on an NBA roster. And there's an example where he just, kind of gets lost in translation there and gives up that easy alley-oop to Wilson.
DJ Wilson appeared limited time in 22 games with Milwaukee last year. Of course, 17th overall pick out of Michigan a year ago. Thomas inside, misses there. We're going the other way from Milwaukee. Don't get confused. That's Brown for the Bucks. Not Bruce Brown. That's Sterling Brown out of SMU. SMU's put out some good products. Of course, Semi Ojeleye, we saw some of him with the Boston Celtics. Taylor Jenkins is the Summer League head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks. Of course, we're talking about a tale of two new coaches. That's one of the big stories here. Got Coach Bud, GA, obviously on the Bucks side. And rare that you see a Coach of the Year move, but that's what happened with Dwayne Casey as he goes on the other side.
Yeah, you see Coach Sweeney. Two guys that had pretty good runs. I mean, it kind of fell apart a little bit there in Atlanta, but that was as much a part of the direction management wanted to go as you see Dwayne Casey. I had him as an assistant when I was with the Supersonics. Wearing that Detroit Tigers hat.
He's hoping it brings the Tigers more wins. I don't know if our guy C. Webb is listening, but I try not to talk to him about the Tigers.
He better focus on the Pistons right now. He's going to leave the Tigers alone.
Bruce Brown, talked about him. We'll discuss him a lot today out of Miami. No foul, good defense, and a travel going the other way. We talked about Dante DiVincenzo. Going to be interesting to see how he translates. There are a lot of people who think that despite the fact that nobody really noticed him to that level, GA, till that championship game performance, that he may be the guy that people talk about most at Nova in terms of just the athletic ability. He's so raw, just starting to show what he can do. Yeah,
it's a little harder when you're an athlete and a guard and the skill hasn't caught up. But he does shoot it. He shot it well. Had some terrific moments for Villanova, particularly in that championship game. He was named the most outstanding performer. So I'm excited to see him. Disappointed, obviously, that he won't be able to participate because of injury.
He can get up off the floor, too. We all remember that block from the championship game. Defense from Brown. We're going the other way. Ellenson not happy with the call.
Yeah,
I mentioned Ellenson, 18th overall pick back in 2016. Brown inbounds. Travis Trice.
Driving ball foul number 8, Henry Ellenson, first personal.
Wood finds Sterling Brown, guarded by Kyrie Thomas. Again, Big East Defensive Player of the Year a year ago. Good defense, no foul, and we're going the other way. That's Yana Egwu.
Good job again, man. You got these pronunciations.
Well, I don't know if that's right, but that's what it is. Yeah. Good defense there. Wood knocks it out. Brown, one of the things you notice about Brown immediately just watching him here in this game, and we're talking about Bruce Brown, is his size. A lot of the guys that he's playing against in this game bigger than he is, but still trying to get to the hole as much as possible, be aggressive.
Yeah, and he'll have to make the adjustment. Good give and go there. Wilson for the deuce, but early on here, Detroit struggling mightily to get a basket. Really to get a good look at the basket.
Have not had one. There's a bad turnover from Thomas. DJ Wilson. Turnaround. Had a man in Trice, decided not to pass it, maybe should have. Here's Ellenson going the other way.
Or that's one of those plays where he ends up making what was a positive play into a negative one. It's okay that you don't get that shot, but just bring it out. We got possession. That's a win for us. You don't want to turn it back over and then give them an opportunity to go down and maybe get a basket.
Here's a look at the fast break again. We've seen a lot of transition buckets already here in Summer League. Here's Milwaukee.
This one between two almost 7-footers would put the fine for Wilson in the finish.
DJ Wilson, 6'10", out of Michigan. Limited time last year, but a guy who I know they like. They look at Milwaukee in their offseason, and it is the third stint for Elson Ilyasova. A 3-year deal, a big pickup for Milwaukee. Not sure what it means, GA, for Jabari Parker in his future, but it's big for Milwaukee. Played great minutes for Philadelphia.
Yeah, he was terrific for Philly and has had those stints, as you mentioned, with Milwaukee. Gives them another veteran guy. And, people tend to forget, Milwaukee took Boston to 7 games in that first round. So they, like the Pacers, have every reason to believe, why couldn't we have gotten to the conference final? And so they're going to come in the next season with a lot of optimism and confidence.
There's the 3-and-D from Kyrie Thomas. Nice dish there from Larry Drew. Sterling Brown, top of the key, no good from Wood. Brown, though, gets it again. Nearly mishandles. Brown guarded. What can Brown do for you? That's 2 Browns.
That's Brown on Brown.
That is a
right
Brown
there.
on Brown front. Defense from Henry Ellenson. We're going the other way. We mentioned Dante DiVincenzo. Talked with his coach in Jay Wright at the draft, and he said that they were on the bus after they got done with the championship game, GA, and his assistant coach, I forget which one, looked at him and said, this is all great, but we're going to lose Dante.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you know what we call those are high class problems. Like you want to have that situation if you're Jay Wright materialize, because that means you had success. Because when you lose guys that weren't projected one and done guys, that means your team was really good. You had a lot of success. You played deep into March, early into April, and they were rewarded with their second national championship.
And I'll tell you this, 3D and I were talking about this earlier. The interesting thing about Atlanta, and a lot of people will discuss it if we get time, talking about Trae Young not playing so well to start, and the way he played in Utah is the fact that Atlanta's third pick in the first round, Amari Spellman, who was taken 30th, is a really interesting untapped resource. His size and his touch at 3, he is an interesting player moving forward.
I really like all of the guys from Villanova. They're all really good basketball players. Jay Wright did a terrific job of teaching those guys how to play the game. And I know a lot of people are high on Dante, as am I. I think he's got a chance to be a really good player, but Amari Spellman, to me, has a chance to end up being the best of the group because, his game really translates in terms of his ability to space it. He can shoot it. He blocks shots. He defends. He rebounds at a high level. And, if he continues to compete and mature, he's a young man who's going to have a chance to have a long, terrific career in the NBA.
Larry Drew, Bruce Brown, Henry Ellenson, and the Pistons. Nice extra pass from Kyrie Thomas. The 3 in the corner, though, no good. Stay right here. Drew almost loses it. Thomas will take it from the corner. Another 3-point opportunity, still no good. We're going the other way. Bucks, 6'5", a lot of missed shots and missed opportunities.
See, you're not being that's a glass half empty approach. I'm calling this a defensive struggle.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Sorry.
That's a crazy play.
That's only because
probably 2 offensive plays on Wood.
See, 3D could talk about this. DZ, that's only because GA played for the 90s Knicks. That's why that's why he's calling this a defensive struggle.
We call this a game. It's just it's physical.
Or offensive mystery.
Yeah.
Here's another look. Wood inside.
It has not been very artistic.
No, you've been through a lot of those 82 to 80 games in the Eastern Conference.
Well, you know what, DZ, I always laugh because people come, oh, man, I loved it back in your area. The game ain't like that. I'm like, man, I didn't want to play in the 80s.
Exactly.
You know,
we don't want to walk the ball up the court all
and get
game.
beat up every possession. You can't run across the lane. I wanted to play with the skill that we see today. These guys are free-flowing. They're shooting it with confidence, with range, playing without the basketball. It's a beautiful game today.
Hey, if 3D played now,
oh my goodness,
we'd be swimming.
I'd be getting a loan. We'd probably be.
We'd be swimming with him.
He'd be signing a $200 million contract.
Let's go to DZ's mansion.
Yeah.
And guys, I was teasing J.R. Smith during the finals. I said, J.R., why are you hesitating to shoot? Do you realize you've taken 21 shots in the game, and all of them been threes? I've never done that, G.A.
Yeah. I mean, as a three-point shooter, that would not have been advised for you.
Back in the day, right?
If that's what you were, they would have never told you.
Exactly.
Bruce Brown hits the three, speaking of which. Here's Tim Quarterman at LSU. Gets stuck on Ellenson. Wood able to save it. Nice look inside to the well-dressed Perry Ellis with a miss. We're locked up at 8 late in the first in what GA calls a defensive Sox pavilion. When you think defense, you think our good friend Dennis Scott, right? Hey, 3D.
Of course. Every now and then I play a little bit of defense. And we have two coaches who preach defense, Dwayne Casey and Coach Budenholzer, who is not here today, but Dwayne Casey will join us in the third quarter. The reason I want to bring both of those coaches up, they both have been very successful in their previous teams. Now they're trying to bring that defensive mindset to their new team. So defense is the mindset, GA. Can somebody make a shot now?
Well, they playing defense tonight.
Exactly.
That's what this is all about.
Oh,
they probably haven't practiced offense yet. That's the problem.
You've been doing. Are you doing some of those meditating? Are you reading like those secret books where like?
No,
you
this
think,
is called
you
reverse
think
psychology.
positive and positive
reverse
happens?
psychology. I'm trying to.
All right.
I'm trying to keep the viewer engaged.
Okay.
Because after watching a lot of the NBA, this could be a bit of a snooze fest if we don't. See
I do want to ask you as another miss because I glossed over it, but it has been the biggest story of early summer league. Because for those who don't realize it, there was in Utah before we got here. GA, you bothered at all by Trae Young's, I would say, even below subpar. It's been a really bad start for him, especially shooting, which is supposed to be where he's supposed to show off. He has not been good here through his first few attempts.
Well, I do think it's extremely tough when you're a one-and-done kid and you don't have a physical advantage. And he has obviously struggled shooting the ball. I didn't get to watch last night, but what I looked for more than anything was could he get the shots he wanted. And I thought he was able to do that, but he was pressing. I mean, and again, he's struggling right now to try and prove what he can do, and it'll just take time. He's going to be fine. But, again, like we talked about with Jonathan Isaac, he's got a similar situation in that, physically he's not as mature with his body as, say, a Colin Sexton is or some of the kids that came out last year. So it's going to be a bit more of a challenge for him. But I think ultimately you'll see him start to play at a reasonably high level once he gets acclimated and comfortable with the NBA game.
Ellenson with a jumper. Again, no good. Rebound, though, inside. Easy bucket, no good. What should I expect any different? Insanity is the same thing over and over again, expecting different
defense
results.
Out here, both teams just getting after it, physical, no airspace whatsoever offensively.
3D, one thing I did want to point out, though, is it's unfortunate as DJ Wilson hits a three. For Trae Young at the draft, and DZ, you were there and so was I.
Yep.
I couldn't find one person who did anything but a triple take at even the idea that you would pass up Luka Doncic, who everybody thinks is a star, for Trae Young. And here's a look at what happened yesterday.
Yeah, things got a little physical yesterday. Yes, it got a little physical.
So people are kind of against him already, almost asking for him and waiting for him to fail, DZ. Not going to be easy for him.
No, it's unfortunate. The young fella coming in at 19. And GA, you and I have talked about it. Let's remind people, he's still 19 years old. So we're expecting him to come in just because we are comparing him to Steph Curry because he can shoot deep threes. GA, you said it best. When's the last time we've seen a guy come out of the college game, lead the league, in scoring and assists.
How about never?
Thank you.
Because it had never happened. And if you want to, first of all, it's not remotely fair to compare him to Steph. Steph's a big guy.
6'4".
Steph's almost 6'4".
And when you see him in person,
physical,
he's
you
bigger.
appreciate it.
Yes.
And also, if you want to compare anything, compare Steph's freshman year at Davidson
Good call.
to his, and then you can start to appreciate. So you're not looking at Trae Young to come in and be a dominant force. Look at the top picks last year. Look at the top 5 picks this year, and these guys, the 4 with Bagley, Doncic, Jaren Jackson, and DeAndre Ayton, all terrific. But if we have a chance, go back to last year's top 5. Markelle Fultz was first. How well did he play last year?
I understand.
Lonzo Ball, he had his struggles last year. Obviously, Jason Tatum was terrific, and we had Donovan Mitchell down the line being terrific. And those guys, when you're one and done, man, you're taking a huge step. Those kids are all 1 year removed from high school, playing against the best players in the world. So it's not going to happen, generally speaking, overnight. I think he'll be fine in time, but he's not going to set the world on fire as a rookie.
Brandon McCoy misses a free throw. I'll say this. If you look at, and it's hard to predict these things except for missed buckets in his first quarter. But when you look at the team that Doncic has, he is very well set up to have a Rookie of the Year run. Why? When you watch him play, he's got really good court sense in terms of vision. You put DeAndre Jordan in there, and between him and Dennis Smith, you got Dirk, you've got the veteran leadership of Carlisle, and you saw what happened with Dennis Smith and how he went. I think Doncic might play pretty well early.
I think he will play well. And again, to your point, Doncic at 19 has been a pro for 4 years.
And beating.
Okay, so, yeah, but he's at 16 or his first year, let's say his first year as a pro, he wasn't who he is today. And neither will Trae Young be. And in terms of Rookie of the Year, listen, the top 2 picks are pretty damn good. They're going to have significant numbers, I think, staying healthy when you look at Bagley and Ayton.
All right.
Ben was one of the great Bucks. He had a tremendous run there. Was fortunate enough to be a teammate of his for a year. Just an awesome, awesome man. Happy to see things are going well for him now with the Bucks organization.
Pistons looking for double figures.
Oh, I thought that was a bank shot.
It's not going to be easy. Tim Quarterman, the other way. DJ Wilson, he's been one of the only guys, I won't call it the hot hand, who's played fairly well so far in this game. Inside and a travel. Brandon McCoy, the travel out of Nevada, excuse me.
No, out of UNLV. He went to UNLV.
Oh, UNLV, yeah. Well, he said, okay, yeah.
Come on, Nevada's up north.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you can't say, don't say Nevada.
Dude, I'm from here.
No, I know that. I'm telling myself.
Yeah, you can say Nevada. I mean,
no.
You might get slapped.
The first NCAA tournament that I did, that I hosted studio coverage. I mean, you would have thought that I could never come back in the state. I fixed it. Oh, baby, it's that Long Island Ease. Trae Bell-Haynes. Good look, but not a good pass.
It's the right idea, but he put a little too much mustard on it.
Coming up, Summer League action continues today in Las Vegas on ESPN, the ESPN app. You got the Celtics and Sixers, 7:30 Eastern. The Mavs and DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns. And the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors still to come as well. Gotta love what the Suns are doing, starting to finally move forward and show really some cohesiveness in the organization. From McDonough on down, everybody, that group's done a nice job. Mikal Bridges, who's a winning player. Josh Jackson, who grew as the year went on. Booker, who they're looking to officially lock up on a long term. Suns are doing a nice job.
Happy that they are showing a chance to be relevant again.
Yeah, it's a goaltend. All right, Detroit in the fight for double digits continues. The three, it's no good. The rebound, the other way, Trae Bell-Haynes.
The good news is they're only 8 points down. So their defense is giving them a chance. They just got to get the Pistons got to get something to fall.
Corner gives up the three, finds it, and it's good.
Go.
There it is. Double digits. Reggie Hurd
Well, that's early in the first quarter, man. Only 2 minutes in, so we still got a lot of time left.
Right, about that. First points in the last 6.5 minutes. That's some solid defense by the Bucks. Trae Bell-Haynes, the catamount. It's good.
Trae Bell-Haynes on
Just
the
like
ground.
that, back-to-back baskets in this game.
Here's Hurd again. He hit the 3 to give him the 11 mark. Good defense there by Quarterman. In fact, ends up causing a steal. Fumbalaya and a block. Nice defense and recovery, Quarterman. Here's DJ Wilson, the 3. It's no good.
Quarterman there, though, defensively had the steal, the deflection early, didn't give up on the play, and then he comes from behind here. It just says, get that shot out of here.
LSU Tiger.
DZ, how would you classify this game? How would you characterize it? Look at that.
There's Larry Drew parting the sea.
Drew scores for Detroit.
We'll have to get DZ later.
Well, and then the body being where it needs to be. Ilyasova back on a 3-year deal. He's a restricted free agent, but you wonder, Sacramento's been mentioned. Does a team give him an offer that maybe the Bucks can refuse and they let him go?
Yeah, and I think that may very well happen. But I also think that the Bucks are a little leery about giving up on that guy because he could still turn into an all-star caliber player. I mean, that potential does exist, but for the injuries that have kind of stunted his growth. Remember, a couple years ago, the kid averaged 20 points a game, and I think he's a proven commodity when healthy.
Nice look inside there from Bruce Brown. And a foul. Eric Griffin is fouled. We take a look at where we are with the Bucks. As you see them, you get Bledsoe now, full season. Brogdon back and healthy. I know he will be here. You think about, it is amazing, by the way, to see Jet over there, Jason Terry,
Man,
still.
he's 53 years
how
old, man.
is he?
He's older than me. Jet came in the league before I did.
It is amazing. No, he didn't.
I'm just joking.
No, he didn't.
Jet,
he was in the league when you were in the league, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
Yeah. What year is this for him? 19?
Oh, yeah. 2000?
Yeah.
1999, right?
Yep.
He's having those get off my lawn. When I was your age, I didn't even have black and white TV conversations. Yeah, he's 40 years old, by the way. At least that's what it is.
No, that's just for TV purposes. He's
right.
53.
Right.
Tell him. Trust me, he's 53 years old.
Nah,
he got grandkids. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. 1999 draft. He'll be 41 in September. Pistons down by 6. Bruce Brown to the bucket. Good D from DJ Wilson. Going the other way. Travis Trice, Michigan State product. Sets up a 3. No good. Rebound from Griffin. Outlet. Here's Lofton. Zach Lofton finds Hearn. The 3 is no good.
Pace has picked up. We still haven't seen that many baskets, but playing a little faster here the last couple minutes.
Extra pass, open 3. Again, no good. By the way, I found out where 3D is. DZ, he can hear me over there. I found out during the break where he's been. Remember, we couldn't find him.
Where was it?
When I went to scroll during the break, I wanted to see who was, getting me up on Facebook. And there's Dennis Scott posting pictures of his interviews today.
Yes.
And you can get him, Dennis Scott Jr. on Facebook. So I just want to say, DZ, I'm just glad you're making use of these breaks.
Well, I'm on the sideline working. Monster dunk by Griffin. See, I'm still alert, Pacey.
Easy over there moonlighting, man. He over there moonlighting.
There's Blackman for 3. It's no good. Low scoring tilt.
This is one of those games where your own fans aren't they're probably tweeting and Instagramming and everything else right now.
This is one of the games where you're like 90 seconds we're talking about LeBron going to the Lakers. Here's another look.
A little bunny hop there for the finish.
Griffin inside with the finish. Lead is now down to 4. Milwaukee hasn't run away with it either. A lot of missed shots.
I keep telling you that Detroit's defense is keeping them in it.
Right. Bruce Brown with the bucket. Lead down to 2. Travis Trice, Summer League veteran. Good career at Michigan State. A nice roll there on the 2.
He had a really good run at Michigan State. Terrific shooter.
Here's another look. Undrafted after 4 seasons at Michigan State. Played in Australia last year, did Trice. Averaged 15 points and 5 assists a game. How valuable is that, the playing overseas? I mean, and I know obviously from the financial aspect, but we saw Briscoe goes for a year, plays in Russia, comes back a better player. What's the difference there versus the
it's
D-League?
Opportunity.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, if you, and I'll tell you what, culturally, what an experience and opportunity to go somewhere else. And I think you gain a greater appreciation for being here and playing here. And sometimes you just need that opportunity to go and mature. We talked about it with Briscoe. Briscoe wasn't ready when he left Kentucky. He left prematurely, but he went over, didn't feel sorry for himself and developed. And I think it's a good opportunity. Even if you never make it to the NBA, you can still go and have an incredible career and experience in life playing overseas. That's the beauty of our game. Right? If you don't make it in the NFL, you kind of, that's it.
That's a wrap.
We have
there's the XFL is returning. See,
yeah, but we don't know how long that's going to be.
No, not very long. Christian Wood, the board, had a nice move his last time in, does so again. This time can't go. Bruce Brown the other way for Detroit. Look a little bit too hard to the corner to Kyrie Thomas, so we're going the other way.
Yeah, just a little bit of a miscommunication, but if you're Brown, you've got to be able to make that pass on point.
"3D, when you're playing in a game like this, even in Summer League, does the halftime break help in some way just to kind of shake this off? I mean, right now momentum has been 1 bucket in a row.
Well, you want to hurry up and get to halftime, get a quick drink of water, and start the third quarter.
Yeah. First of all, DZ ain't never played in a game like this. DZ gunning and making shots. That he's not able to participate, because you do gain a lot from Summer League as a young player, especially when you went through a season in which he did last year.
The Pistons were not the only team, I know this, because there's that other team in New York, too. They were not the only team to miss on Donovan Mitchell, but a lot of times last year when Kennard was having struggles, there were talks about, well, he was the guy taken before Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you redrafted, Donovan Mitchell has taken what? 3? 5?
I think he's definitely going to move up. But I would say this. The Knicks weren't drafting, in essence, the combo or shooting guard, but Detroit did, as did Charlotte. Those are the guys that went specifically with the position. It was a position of need for them. And so it's no coincidence that both those teams have new front offices and coaches.
A couple of new coaches in this matchup here. Coach Bud, Mike Budenholzer, comes over from the Hawks, and Dwayne Casey, who will sit with us in the third quarter. Not often a coach of the year, who just was honored as such. I mean, when you're looking for credibility for a team that has had a lot of different things go on with it in the front office hierarchy for Detroit, you got to feel good that a guy like Dwayne is coming in to kind of settle the water.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to come in with tremendous credibility, and he's also not the first coach of the year to get fired. I mean, almost all of them have fired at some point. Maybe not that year, but it happens in this business, and he didn't take him long to fall on his feet there as Ellison gets that one rejected.
And the look by Christian Wood. Look at Dwayne Casey, last 7 seasons with the Raptors, and they got better every year. Just broke the franchise mark for a season last year as the most wins in Raptors history overall, 320.
And not that it was his fault, but not that they lost to the Cavs, the fact that they were swept. That's why probably they decided to go in a different direction. That's just the reality. That team obviously had a psychological disadvantage when it came to the Cavs, and just did not perform at a level really that they should have based on who they were over the course of the regular season.
Christian Wood, UNLV product, has played very, very well. Been aggressive. Nice extra pass from Drew. But we're going the other way. By the way, for Toronto, big week for them. They had Canada Day, got John Tavares, and LeBron went to the Western Conference.
Yeah.
That's quite a week if you're up in TO, one of my favorite cities.
And the funny thing about it is most people are just assuming they're not going to contend. It's all Boston, Philly. I'm like, Toronto's going to be there, and your guy, Fred VanVleet. Oh, how about Christian Wood?
Christian Wood with a lot of swag, too. We saw the look on Ellington here off the Quarterman feed and the flush. He's got 8.
Yeah, nice find by Quarterman. Equally good catch and finish by Wood.
Both Quarterman and Wood have played well here in the first half. Lead is 12, 32-20. Larry Drew to the rack. Nice look, but too hard. Defense converging. Ends up throwing it out, and it goes out of bounds for a turnover. Meanwhile, the WNBA's in full swing. Don't miss a minute of action. Catch it live. Get your tickets today at WNBA.com/tickets. Barnett finds a 3, and Wood is fouled.
Detroit foul number 52. Now Egwu is 5th personal foul. First
foul on Egwu. That's his 5th. He's halfway there. Again, you get 10. And that's several fouls on three-pointers we've seen already here in Summer League Day 1 in Vegas. Wood has 8. That's his second straight missed free throw. We've seen that be an issue throughout the course of the day. Bucks 7 of 14 from the line.
It's crazy. Christian Wood's been out of school for a long time. He's only 22.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Back into the game, Eric Griffin, number 39.
You know, ordinarily a 13-point lead in the NBA is like, that's nothing.
Well,
you could overcome that in 2-3 minutes.
This is like a 13-point lead on Princeton.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah.
Here's 3D with some knowledge. DZ?
Reports we have it that Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls has agreed to a 4-year offer sheet, $80 million from the Sacramento Kings. The Bulls have 48 hours to match it. Very interesting out in Sacktown now, GA.
It is.
I think you got to match that.
I agree.
I think you got to match that.
I think you have to seriously consider it. I mean, you did make a significant trade for that young man.
I think they want LaVine back, but 3D, I think, and there's Griffin wide open. Nice maneuver.
Eric Griffin down low.
With restricted free agents, DZ, as we all know, you wait until the other guy sets the market. I think they understand LaVine's part of that core, though.
I agree. I think GA said it earlier that sometimes you sit back and wait because you have that last right to go ahead and match. But sometimes, GA, some of these guys are a little sensitive when they don't get that offer sheet. It has a little sour taste in their mouth from the team that drafted them or traded for them.
Yeah, and that's where I think your agent and the team, for that matter, have to communicate to allow that player to know that it's not personal. I mean, I've said this about the restricted guys. Unless you're a max guy, generally the market's going to get set for you. And now it's just a matter of the market that was set is the one that the Bulls had intended on matching. Because 4 for 80, in their mind they were thinking, 15, but he goes to 20. That could give them pause. But I'm with you guys. I do think they will ultimately match that deal.
I have to throw this out there because we just did the WNBA promo. But one of my favorites and one of the greatest women's players ever, Candace Parker, just shot me a note that she's watching. So,
tell Candace I said what.
Candace, hello from the crew.
I'm really excited. You know, it's a great situation, a great organization, great ownership, great front office. And I really like our roster, Casey, and the fact that you have a Blake Griffin, you have Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson. The key with us is health. Stan Van Gundy did a heck of a job with the group. establishing a foundation. And again, you know, stuff happens in our league, as Greg knows, but I'm excited about the opportunity to go and work with the guys and get things going. We've been working pretty hard out in L.A. with the players to get ready for the season. And everybody's coming in with the right attitude, right approach, and we're really excited.
You know, Dwayne, Coach and I go back. He was my assistant when I was with the Sonics back in the last millennium. Anyhow, you know, I always say the good coaches, they earn the right to get fired because they get rehired. And they get good opportunities. So you got a good one. And you were saying something. We were playing a clip earlier from the awards show, and you talked about how, you know, when you get fired, it has you doubt yourself. But you being an athlete as well, you're going to be more critical of yourself than anyone else. So give me a sense of what you felt you needed to do as a coach to be better in your next go-round, even though you were tremendously successful, the most successful coach in the history of the Raptors franchise.
Well, one thing, you always question what you could do differently. You know, everybody's batting 1,000 the day on Monday after the Monday quarterback. So, but again, you know, if I could do some things differently, as far as adjustments in the game, you always question that. But again, I will say this: Cleveland's a heck of a team. Our matchups weren't as good as you would want them to be. We had a excellent young player in Anunoby guarding LeBron, and that was a difficult challenge for him. But the young man took the challenge. And again, you know, you wish you could do some things differently, and it just didn't work out that way. But again, Toronto's a good situation. Good organization, no hard feelings whatsoever. We just want to spank them 4 times when we play them the next time around.
I bet you do. The good news is you can't play LeBron in the Eastern Conference playoff this year, so you don't have to worry about that. I want to talk about your roster. Last year, Andre Drummond had a fantastic year and continues to get better with the ball. Even got better at the line last year. How excited are you to work with him?
Really excited. I think he did a heck of a job of quarterbacking at the top. Is the way we want to play. We're not going to run a lot of post-ups for him, but he's going to have the opportunity to quarterback out at the top as far as DHOing and that type of thing. One thing Andre has done is worked on his game. He worked on his free throws. His free throws percentage has gotten better every year, Casey. And so we're excited about that. He's got to continue to be the dominant guy on the boards, which he's done in the past few years. But, again, it's a growing process, getting our shot spectrum going. On the offensive end, we want to shoot more threes, get more threes up, attack the rim more, and really try to get in the, like Greg said, the new millennium as far as our offense is concerned. And not that the past, you know, year wasn't, you know, doing a good job, but we want to play a different way offensively and make sure we get some threes up.
And just want to know quickly, GA, the year prior, 38% from the line. Andre went up to 61% last year.
Terrific. And, you know, you talked about it. Listen, you guys offensively, I thought you won Coach of the Year not because you guys won 59, but because you basically metamorphosed the entire style, the system, and you flourished in it. So you're going to, I'm sure, try to do something similarly. But you've got another guy in Blake Griffin, and the number that stood out for me, he averaged 6 assists last year. I mean, he is a phenomenal passer, and now he's going to have an opportunity to go to training camp with this group. As you know, it's tough when you come over midseason in a trade. Talk about what you envision his impact can be. A guy who's been, for his career, one of the top maybe 15 players in the league.
Huge, Greg, and the fact that, you know, Blake is so talented, and he can shoot the three, he can put the ball on the floor, make great decisions. Like you said, he can pass the ball. But most of all, I think his leadership. I think, like you said, it's hard to come into a new situation and present yourself as a leader because you're coming into a new locker room, new ideas, and that type of thing. Where now, he's one of our leaders this summer. It's going to be his and Reggie and Andre's team coming into this season. So there's so many factors that he can contribute to, not only on the court, but as a leader, setting the tone, how hard he plays. And right now, and he said the other day, this is the earliest he's started to work in the summertime, and as good as he's felt this early in the summer, because he's always been coming back from whatever injury. So we're excited about having good health, a healthy Blake Griffin coming in, but most of all, just a new start, new style of play we want to play.
That's a huge finish again from Christian Wood. Dwayne Casey joining us. So let's talk about the leadership, because your guard play in Toronto was as good as anybody had. And really, beyond the top two, you think about what DeLon did and then Fred VanVleet. Talk to me a little bit about your conversations with Reggie Jackson. Have you had them? What's been the message to him about what you want to see from him heading into this year?
Well, with Reggie, I think he is a very talented young man. Again, the injury bug hit him last year. He's a big point guard. As Greg knows, it's very difficult. He can see over the defense. And one thing that Reggie can do also, he can shoot the three. A couple of years ago, he did a good job of shooting the three. We wanted to emphasize that more with him. And with Blake handling the basketball, he can be off the ball a little bit more, as like we did with Lowry last year, and get him off the ball a little bit and let him spot up and utilize his shooting skills. So we'll mix it up with him, but most of all, having a healthy Reggie Jackson coming in next year is a huge plus for us, just because of his size and also his ability to run pick and roll and make plays out of the double team.
Now, my question, the most important one before we get to our break, is you had the transition, the awards, the evaluation. You going to get a vacation for a couple of days at some point?
No, I'll tell you what, I'm not looking for one. I'm excited to get started.
Oh, they scored. You know what?
They're about the same.
Yeah, probably about the same. What a year they have, by the way. You think football's excited to come here? Baseball at some point in the future?
I mean, it's Las Vegas. It's so crazy how much this city has grown. I remember when there was no way plausible that you'd ever see professional sports in Las Vegas. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to have an NFL and an NHL team in a matter of months. So I'm excited for the city.
See, I was just passed a note that said the Mets minor league team is here. Now, I remembered that.
Well, we've always had a minor league team.
Voluntarily, the Mets major league team is a minor league team.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
That's unfortunate. Well, Greg's a Yankee fan, and I grew up with a house full of Yankee fans, and I'm a Met fan, so we have good fun.
Yeah. Well, y'all don't have as much fun on the Mets side.
No, I mean you and I talking.
Oh yeah, we do. You and I do.
No,
I was thinking of your family.
No, they don't. They have a lot of fun. I don't have any. Never try and be rebellious, kids at home. It's a lesson. Blackman, top of the key. Bucks up by 18. No good. Wood, he's been a force inside. Looks for the board and a foul. We'll go the other way. We were talking about Reggie Jackson. I want to ask you about that from a point guard perspective, because we know the talent is there, but GA, you talk to people around the league, and I know health was an issue last year. There's always been a lot of conversation. Can he lead a group? Is he a guy who's too much me first, shoot first, and not enough facilitating? Can he be a guy to lead a group and make players better?
You know, he had 45 games last year where they were +9 in wins. If you look at the impact he had as a player, that's a significant stretch. You know, 45 games really gives you a real picture of who you are and who your team can be with you at the helm. And so I'd say, yeah, he can absolutely lead that team to the playoffs. I expect them to be a playoff team next year if healthy. And I think you heard it in Dwayne Casey's voice. He kind of feels similarly that he's got a golden opportunity with this group.
Ellenson goes for the and one. We look at Reggie Jackson. There are the numbers with and without. The wins go up. The points kind of about the same.
Well, if you're over 2 points a game more, that's significant. But more importantly, they're over 6.5 point differential.
Good math, by the way.
So it's not just about the offense.
That UNLV education.
Yeah, the Ivy League of the Desert, baby.
Is that what they call it now?
No, that's what they always call it. That's what they always call it, baby. That's what we always call it. And so he is impacting the game on both sides of the floor. So I think they're fine. I think they've got a roster, if healthy, that's a playoff team. And I think next year you're going to see a scenario where teams that aren't, you know, a top 2-3 seed, they're going to be confident that they can compete and beat teams that are ranked higher in terms of the seeding.
There's Kyrie Thomas. Good look, but misses the three. Christian Wood, we push the other way. Bucks up 15. Wood guarded by Ellenson. Stopped and air. Good idea. Didn't work. Nice pass. Thomas another attempt from 3. That's no good. Rebound doesn't go. Ellenson finds Thomas again. Doesn't look for the trifecta attempt. Instead, the extra pass. And Hearn hits the 3.
All of a sudden, you get to 14 to 12 here. You know, there's a lot of time in this game. Still the fourth quarter to go, and Detroit's showing some life here offensively. Why are you looking at me shaking
Because that's how
your
you
head?
know you've been color commentating for 20 years.
Come on, man.
It hasn't even been actually 16, 15, how many years?
Like 18 now,
years.
man.
18 years.
Who's counting?
Not me. I was, actually, I think. Ellenson, they want him to do that from deep. No good. GA, of course, part of what I always call the best team to never win the championship with that 15-point lead.
Oh, that was my Blazers team.
Yeah, that was, I'm telling you, man,
Yeah.
in watching basketball long time, in terms of depth, that may be the deepest team that I've seen at the NBA.
We were a deep team, and we lost to a great team, obviously, in the Lakers, that went on to win their first championship of 3.
We come back
You had
against the Wizards. And then it's Denver at Minnesota. Two teams battling for position during the course of this past season. Denver just missing the playoff. Minnesota getting in and breaking that drought. Bruce Brown inside. Not able to go. Speaking of droughts, Pistons only with 37 points. Trae Bell-Haynes, Perry Ellis. A lot of ball movement. Blackman. Up top of the key, Tim Quarterman has played pretty well. Shot no good. Ellenson the rebound.
And that, you know, that possession there, that was actually pretty good execution by Milwaukee, but just nobody with the ability to finish in terms of scoring.
Speaking of which, a miss there, but we do have a foul. Shot taken by Kenneth Speedy Smith. Not to be confused with Kenny the Jet Smith.
No, Speedy, Jet.
Or Speedy Claxton, the Hofstra University product. Speedy Claxton. Kenneth Speedy Smith.
Speedy got more hair than Jet.
Now, do you think they put Speedy in here because, do you think he's that because he knows he can't be the Jet? So do you think he's Speedy because of Kenny the Jet?
Knowing Kenny the Jet, he probably has a
copyright or
yeah, he's probably
yeah.
copyrighted that. And
well, Jason Terry's the Jet.
Yeah, but we don't call him. It's the Jet.
Not?
We don't call him as much the Jet, although I do.
Yeah, that's his nickname, right?
Yeah.
You play in the league 38 years.
Yeah, that's a good
I mean,
point.
come on.
I think the Godfather, Kenny the Jet, signed off on him. So I'm okay with it.
Quarterman back to the top of the key. DJ Wilson out of Michigan, played 22 games last year for the Bucks. 5 on the shot clock. Wilson, top of the key. It's
That counts.
oh, that's it. Hey, look, it works.
Did he call it? Did he call it?
Hey, look, we're in Vegas at the casinos. You know the ATMs are always open.
I tell you what, and see, Speedy just got a double dribble. He went so fast that the official couldn't see it.
Yeah. Speedy Smith out of Louisiana Tech. By the way, speaking of ATMs, I was reminded by our good friend Charles Barkley the other day that he still has never used an ATM in his life. So if you're at home thinking I'm missing out, just think about what life would be if you couldn't use the ATM.
But Chuck's also never used the internet,
No.
a mobile phone,
No.
a fax machine.
Nope.
You know, he'll drink a Diet Coke.
Yes, or 7. There's DJ Wilson and a foul. Scores 57-37. We had 2 very close games to start our work here at Cox. GA and I done for the day here. Rick Kamla and D-Fish. Derek Fisher will be here. GA and I back tomorrow. We got a couple of games here tomorrow. We get the Knicks.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Kevin Knox.
Yeah, we get the Knicks, which is nice. At some point this weekend.
And Nila Keenan.
Yeah.
The new and improved from all the reports I'm hearing. The more aggressive Frank Nila Keenan.
Fizz is saying that point guard spot wide open. Him and Boutier both with opportunities.
And Trae Burke.
And Trae Burke, who, by the way, Trae Burke played extremely well in the second half of the season when given opportunity last year. He looked like the year, I was talking to DA, our own David Aldrich, who obviously is in the area, talking about his time with the Wizards, and they thought Trae Burke maybe would find himself out and playing overseas somewhere. Fantastic last year.
Happy for that young man. You know how bad he wants to succeed. He's definitely got an opportunity with the Knicks.
That's one way of saying it.
Full disclosure, Casey is a Knicks fan
I do not think they're in any rush to bring Porzingis back. I'll put it that way.
No. Nor should they be.
He shouldn't play a game next season if you ask me, but that's just...
Yeah, I think you want to... I don't want to be in a hurry to get him back, but I would like to see him next year because it helps me further evaluate my roster.
I'd like to further evaluate the picks available in 2019. Quarterman up 19, speaking of which. 12 on the shot clock, 20 in the quarter. Inside, no foul, good defense. And Speedy Smith in transition. Deep three is good. Booking for Zach Lofton. New Mexico State product. And another foul on a three-pointer. This one from Hearn.
That's a tough call there against Hearn, who obviously didn't like the call.
Hearn played at Northwestern. I know they're smart there. This is not a smart touch there. It's a ticky-tacky.
You called it just right. It was a touch.
Yes, a touch. As we said earlier in the day, if you haven't been watching all three of the games, and if you haven't, we understand. The refs also trying to get to the NBA level.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys trying to show evaluation across the board. I mean, we've evaluated everything from the play, the refs, to even the work of the scoreboard during the course of this day here at Cox Pavilion.
And in fairness to the officials, and I say this to people all the time, you know, I don't know why you would expect officials to never make a mistake. I've never seen a player not turn it over, not commit a silly foul, all those things.
How are you feeling? How's the injury, and what we need to look forward to?
I'm feeling all right. I worked out today. I've been working out, trying to just get to 100% before I go back out there. I don't want to re-injure it again. And I'm just excited to be here learning. Just learning from the coaches now, meeting down with the front office, and just really get acclimated to everything.
As you watching practice and you're seeing how the flow of the NBA game is, how do you see yourself fitting in when you get healthy?
I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait. There's so much space out there, and just it's a fast-paced game. And I like playing fast. I can use my athleticism. I can knock down shots.
We were just talking about when I was watching you playing, I was calling you Mr. Excitement. Where's all this energy come from? When did you realize this is what you love to do?
That's just what I pride myself on doing. Just going out there and bringing myself to a higher level and bringing my teammates to a higher level with my energy. That was my job all year at Villanova, and it's carried me into this year.
Is there be opportunity where you get healthy enough we'll see you play throughout the summer league?
Yeah, that's my goal. My goal is to get healthy as soon as possible and try to play as many games as possible.
And when you're watching this game play, do you see yourself playing the 1 or the 2 or the 3 or just being out there and contributing?
Just being out there, honestly. I think Coach can put me into different positions. We have ball handlers, but I can also play off the ball, and I can guard bigger positions, so it kind of opens it up for us.
Have you had a chance to talk to Coach Bud yet? He likes guys who like to get nasty and play deep, which you do, and also shoot the 3.
Yeah, he said he was excited to have me, and that fuels me just to be able to play that much harder for him.
I appreciate you.
Yep, thank you.
All right, GA and Casey, I'm calling him Double D, Mr. Excitement.
Yes, sir.
Dante DiVincenzo, a guy also who's got that want that you're looking for, aggressive defense, hustle plays. That is quite a program that Jay Wright has built at Villanova.
And you know the beauty of that young man, he has no self-doubt.
No.
Like he truly, and you know, the biggest aspect or element of success in this league or in any professional sport is confidence. He believes in himself, and I think that's one reason why he was able to perform at the highest level on the biggest stage in college. And I think you'll see a similar dynamic play out for him as a professional. I think he's going to be solid. Obviously, he's got a long way to go in terms of learning and developing, but I think he's got a good foundation from which to start.
We talked about Phoenix earlier. Mikal Bridges over there You know, he's an interesting guy out of Villanova to watch here in the NBA because he can play defense at a couple of positions. He shoots really well from the line. He's a 40+% shooter from three. You talk about guys who transition like Spellman to the NBA level, and also a really smart kid who I know Jay Wright always talked about his leadership on the floor. Bridges is going to be a nice addition to what they have there with Booker, Ayton, and Josh Jackson out in Phoenix.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to be a solid performer for them as well. What I loved about him also is his ability to play without the basketball, which is really valuable in our game today. You know, that spacing out on the floor and understanding spacing and how to utilize it is so critical to the success of a lot of guys in this league.
Zach Lofton in, but the miss. Trae Bell-Haynes, he'll back things up. Take a look. 17 on the shot clock. In off glass, doesn't even touch it. Here's Detroit going the other way. They say sometimes it's like fish in a barrel. I don't know what the opposite of that is. It's been that from both teams, as you can see. If you're just joining us, Perry Ellis is
the rebound and the put back for the Bucks.
Yeah, it's been a struggle, obviously, for this Pistons team, and they'll take a chance here to talk it over.
But we saw the growth of a lot of players. Bledsoe fitting in, and Giannis. Forget about all NBA second team. The question is for me now, GA, with LeBron out of conference, is the Greek Freak the best player in the Eastern Conference?
He's going to be in the conversation,
right?
There's no doubt about it. Just continues to improve as a player, and you know, you would think, first of all, you would think that it was like the world came to an end for the Bucks. You know, you fire your coach, all these other issues, but they really did have a decent season. I think in some respects they had a higher regard for who they were than maybe they should have. I don't think it was as realistic. I didn't think they were ready to contend yet in the Eastern Conference. But I do think with a guy like Giannis, they're heading in that direction.
When you look at the Bucks from a year ago and you think about where they are now, it's going to be interesting to see how far up they can move, because I agree with you, maybe too much made of them being a disappointment last year. I think for Detroit, it's a disappointment not making the playoffs after getting Blake Griffin. Now with LeBron out and Bledsoe a full year, and you bring in Ilyasova, and you've got a coach that you know is representative of being able to win in this game, Bucks are going to look to try and advance, I think, beyond where they were from a year ago. I don't think 7th in the East is going to be enough for them this year.
Yeah, and I think to your point, Budenholzer is one of those guys from an offensive standpoint I think will benefit them. I think you'll see better ball movement, better rhythm on that side of the floor, which will help their defense, quite frankly. And then having Bledsoe for a full training camp, you know, getting to learn that system from the beginning with everybody else. And you're right. I think that the Eastern Conference is going to be a lot more interesting this year, minus LeBron.
I'll tell you something. You go down the stretch last year and into the playoffs, and that's some of the best basketball Chris Middleton has played. He was fantastic in the postseason for them in that series that went 7. So that's also a good sign. He's a guy who's been banged up and in and out. He really comes into the offseason into next year playing some of his best basketball, which makes him a better team when he's a guy who could shoot the ball, be another offensive option.
Yeah, and I think it's his development and his ascension is one reason why, you know, they may decide that Jabari Parker, you know, if you get a better opportunity, you know, I'm going to tip my cap and thank you for your service. Because he was, since he's gotten back and fully recovered from that injury a year ago, I definitely feel like he has been a really good compliment to Giannis.
DJ Wilson at the line. Lead is 21 for the Bucks. About 7 minutes to go here at Cox Pavilion. He's got 15 now in the game for DJ Wilson. Heard from Dante DiVincenzo earlier. He'll be a part of things. Interesting to see how they use him. We talk, you hate to bring up Tweeter with every player in every game, but here's another guy. Because, though, of his length and the fact that from a wingspan and a defensive standpoint, even though he's 6'4", he seems like he can guard bigger than that. You do have a little bit more ability to play around with where you want to move him on the floor.
Yeah. You know, and I would also say, in fairness to him, I don't know that he's going to be in the rotation this year. But he's going to get a lot of valuable experience. He's going to get a lot of opportunity but they're not going to rush him. But I will also say, you see the age there, 21. You know, remember, he redshirted a year. So he's a little more mature maybe than some. That's one of the traits of a Jay Wright-led team. They had a lot of guys. Mikal Bridges was a redshirt as well. And they bought into that, and it's one reason why he is a first-round pick here today.
And you want to know how deep that club was that won the national championship. The guy GA and I haven't
even said his name.
Is the National Player of the Year. He and Jalen Brunson did.
Well, GA, you said something earlier, and just talking to him. When you have a teammate that walks into the locker room and all of a sudden everything just lights up, that becomes contagious. To have someone willing to dive on the floor, do all the little stuff that kind of ignites your teams on both ends of the floor. And to your point again, Jay Wright knows how to find those kind of kids. As soon as they come into the league, they're ready to play.
And that's a very good point, Dennis. And he recruits a certain type of player, not necessarily the guy that you look at and say, oh, he's the most talented. No, he's the best fit.
Milwaukee
happened to make contact. 72-46. Under 7 to go. Here at Cox Pavilion as we continue with you. Game 3 of day 1 of our coverage. Again, the first year, if you just joined us, that all 30 teams represented here in Vegas. Bruce Brown out of Miami gets the first free throw. Brown, the 42nd overall pick, averaged 11.7 per game, 7 rebounds a game in Miami. Limited to 19 games as a sophomore last year because of a foot surgery. Hence the lower draft for him. Travis Trice and Larry Drew, 2 college standouts. Sterling Brown, guarded by Kyrie Thomas, Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Pistons go the other way, down by 24. Strong to the hole and the foul. That'll be on Christian Wood. Wood, who's played very aggressive, actually played very well in this game for the Bucks. Now they're calling it on Bell-Haynes. Looked like it was on Wood. Number 50, by the way, if you noticed as we're watching here on the screen, get a look next time you see down on the floor. There's no number. There's no name, excuse me. Is it Henry Ellenson has changed his jersey? He was wearing number 8 before and has changed to 50. You tell me, G.A. Got too sweaty, they didn't have a replacement? I don't know.
Could have gotten ripped, might have had some blood on it.
Well, don't you have I mean, you got to have a backup,
bad
though.
luck.
You got to have a backup, no?
Summer League. Summer League. It's a little different.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Good thing they had a large number 50. Yeah.
Remember they were having that problem early last season with jerseys ripping.
Yes, or spelled wrong.
Yeah, that too.
Block it the other way. Yeah, notice I looked over, I saw 50. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Just a random number. But up 22, not going to matter.
No, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Bucks are going to win this one.
You know, as a guy who knows full well that if you tell me to take a bet, I should listen to you.
That's an inside joke.
It is.
That Casey and I had
a bad
gentlemanly
one. A bad
wager.
One for me. A bad one for me.
Trash there with the deuce.
Bucks up 24. Bruce Brown, guarded by DJ Wilson, top of the key. Ellenson look for the dribble handoff, keeps it instead. Here's Thomas. Kyrie Thomas finds Ellenson. It's 50 for 3. Not able to get. GA, maybe he's just trying to make you proud, putting 50 in.
That's a good number, man. That number was good. It was very good to me.
You and Sid Fernandez.
Yeah.
Now, you wore number 2 also. What would you like better?
50 was kind of my number. We wore number 2 our rookie year out of respect to Coach Tart because he wore number 2 in college. So Stacy and Larry and I all wore number 2. You know, tip of the cap to our Hall of Fame coach.
Yep.
18 foul on the Pistons.
I'll tell you what. Coach Carnesecca, growing up in New York, Coach Carnesecca's sweater may be second, but The Tark towel may be the single greatest thing. We've had coaches, I can't think of who it is, it's one of the coaches in the NCAA this year who doesn't wear a shirt and tie, just wears a blazer over like a T-shirt. We've had all sorts of different things, but nobody will ever have what Tark had.
Coach Tark was really superstitious. And so the whole story of the towel is when he was a high school coach, he gets so nervous in games. Like, he really gets nervous. And so after every timeout, in the high school gym, you have the water fountains at the end of each bench.
Sure.
So at every timeout, he'd have to walk down, get water, walk back, so he wouldn't have as much time to talk to his team. And so the manager said, Coach, here, why don't you just suck on this? So he went and wet a towel for him. And what happened, they won the game. And so, of course, since they won, it was because of the towel. And from that moment on, that became his crutch.
Must have been a big win.
Yeah.
Bucks looking for that one when we come back. More from Summer League action after this. An app, you can get that, is Boston by 4 over Philadelphia. The Celtics, of course, quite a season last year, and did most of it without Kyrie down the stretch, all of it pretty much without Gordon Hayward. And the idea that they bring those guys back, if Marcus Smart comes back, not bad to bring the whole team and then add a couple of all-stars to your group and 2 of the best players in the Eastern Conference now.
No doubt about it. It's going to be exciting however it works out. Obviously, Marcus Smart has been an integral part of the Celtics' identity. But I'm sure we talked about it with Levine. There's a number that they're probably, and Wood continues to impress, but there's a number that Celtics brass probably has in mind in terms of what they'd be willing to pay.
We go back here to where we're at Cox Pavilion. Christian Wood, you mentioned him. He's been fantastic in this game and the star of a show for the Bucks that has led up to a 26-point lead. There's Wood again off glass and in. And he's brought swag after blocks and dunks. He's taken a lot of different looks at Henry Ellis and doesn't care what number he's wearing.
Yeah,
he's had it.
I think the next time they play the Pistons, he's going to probably send a limo.
50, Henry
Ellison, because he likes going up against that young fella.
Yeah, the problem will be if he goes up against them in the big time, he'll have that Drummond guy.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different.
A little bit different. 21-9 for Wood, by the way. Zach Lofton from New Mexico State puts it in. 3.5 to go. Third game at Summer League. Don't go anywhere. Our coverage continues. Life after LeBron begins for the Cleveland Cavaliers and Colin Sexton, who, man, in talking to Avery Johnson, a guy we both know, I mean, first of all, you got to be, Christian Wood again. You got to be really tough to be a point guard and learn through Avery. Yeah. But, man, he talks like a proud papa about Sexton. Loves him.
Yeah, he had a terrific season at freshman year for Alabama. And we'll talk about Christian Wood. Mouse in the house. He does not bail him out there by settling for the jumper.
23 points, 9 rebounds for Christian Wood, who has a seat. Has done his job and then some. Bucks have looked good. Remember, they don't have Dante DiVincenzo. But as he talked about with 3D earlier, he worked out today. He's feeling good. So hopefully they can get him back shortly. I know he would like to play. For the Pistons, they'll hope to get Luke Kennard in action soon as well. He wasn't able to play. Knee strain, just being careful again. Precautionary, better patience than anything else, GA, when you're talking about Summer League.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, they really want Kennard to get out there. Again, remember, new coaching staff, new philosophy, new terminology, all those things, and a fresh set of eyes as well in this sophomore campaign.
As you saw there at the bottom of the screen, the Cavaliers and Wizards are coming up next. Don't go anywhere. We continue our coverage here at NBA TV. Blackman and a foul. This one on Lofton.
Number 34,
2 shots. Blackman will go to the line. Lead is 30, 86 to 56. After the third preliminary round, the teams will get seeded. Are you on the seeding committee?
No.
Because Because I thought, this is what it says you're on the seating committee. I thought you were on the seating committee.
No. That might
You want to be on the seating committee?
No.
No?
And unfortunately, I won't be in town.
No. Well, this is your town. Come on.
Yeah, but I won't be
I know.
in my town.
I know. Larry Drew, no good. I'll tell you, I'm excited. I don't want to look ahead to past the weekend. But Vince Carter and I have Bamba against Ayton coming up at Thomas and Mack on Monday night.
That's going to be
on NBA TV.
Fun.
You want to talk about Monday night? Where's Hank Williams? We got Bamba against Ayton on Monday night.
And they played against each other again. His junior senior year, Bamba. Ayton was a teammate with McCoy here. And so their group, Cal Supreme, which is the team Shaq's son played for last year as well.
Yep. Tim Quarterman inside, looking for the extra pass. Too unselfish there. Kyrie Thomas up court. Inside again, there's Bruce Brown.
Oh, nice pass there.
The Spurs.
Bruce Brown.
Kyle Anderson, slow-mo, has signed a 4-year, $37 million offer sheet with the Memphis Grizzlies.
I'm happy for that young man.
May not match that.
He has worked his tail off.
Yes.
It depends on. I know that Greg Pop really likes him, and he had a really good season for them, and that's not a big number. Mid-level's $8-9 million a year, so.
Christian Wood, who you look at there, has been the star of the game for the Bucks in this one. 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks. At home here, where he played at UNLV.
Ivy League of the Desert.
Yes, the Ivy League of the Desert. Take a look at what he did here, GA. He's working the fourth.
He was an athlete, really. Just attacking that offensive glass, running the floor, just staying busy on both ends, and really, as much as he got that Bucks offense going.
First team foul or two.
That's Henry Ellenson on the line. If you're just joining us, his number 8, we're not sure what happened to it. He wore it in the first half. He does not have it in half number 2. He wore 50 as an ode to GA, knowing he was in the building.
And he started to play a little better, too. I don't know if
he's definitely not playing like you.
No, he's playing better. He's had some moments.
DJ Clyde.
It is reminded of me that David Robinson, who is with us on our NBA TV coverage of the draft, the best number 50.
Yes, I would say that. Some of my boys back in the hood might say 50.
Well, I'll tell you, I was just about to say, with how much I like Power. Watch Power.
I haven't watched
I love Power. Oh, it was fantastic. The opening of the new season on Stars.
So I like
Brandon McCoy off glass, no good. What a fantastic really show that is. And Amari Hardwick is fantastic. That whole crew is great.
That whole cast.
Very, very good. Now, let me tell you something. Finney can act. Yeah. He's really good in it. Very, very good. Very good.
I saw him in a movie, this Den of Thieves. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not seen that.
That was worthy of watching, yeah. O'Shea Jackson's in that.
Can you tell it's 90-63 in a summer league game?